Welcome to my channel. Today, I'll be sharing a story that has remained confidential for years. I'm about to break the chain of secrecy and pour out the uncanny. This story is about a century-old myth, a story about the anglerfish that you will find in the river flowing through the abandoned town of Pennsylvania. This is not an ordinary story. It's a story that has remained hushed for years until today. Every 13 years, the anglerfish comes back stronger than ever, luring those that walk along the riverbanks all by themselves after the sunset. But the anglerfish isn't the normal kind. It's a demonic entity vested with the powers of Satan itself. The screams and the cries of the victims still haunt the abandoned town. If you happen to walk by the river and see an anglerfish in the river, you don't turn towards it, for it identifies its targets and lures them into their trap. This story will undoubtedly shake you to the core. Get ready to join me on a bewildering story. The lure. The world is a mysterious place. There are unbelievable things happening every day, but you won't be able to feel it or experience it unless you give it your attention. It won't be wrong to say you attract what you think or what you fear. If you are someone that gets drawn towards paranormal artifacts, then this story is for you. There is a town named Camry in Pennsylvania. Not many people know about it as it remains abandoned today. But a few decades ago, it used to be a beautiful and serene place to live in. A white, crystal clear water flowed across the town. The town was so beautiful that it was soon overpopulated, but within a few years, something unusual happened. The people living there began to disappear mysteriously. However, on each full moon day, the bodies used to be found in the riverbank without their heads or certain body parts. Living in the area soon became a great threat. Anguish and paranoia inundated the town. When the death count became more than 10, that is when a group of fishermen reported seeing something similar to anglerfish in the river. Panic surged around the locality. Everyone was shocked. How could anglerfish survive in a river? They questioned, but the native of the town knew it wasn't the anglerfish that was inside the river. Nevertheless, they believed the old story circulated from generation and generation. Centuries ago, 13 groups of men slit their throats and drowned themselves in the river to sacrifice their bodies to Satan, only to return back to the town every 13 years, getting powerful and intense each time. The old scriptures and embodiment have mentioned the anglerfish like a predator to be the highest form of power, for it would remain on earth and hunt on the innocent. With time, when the death count keeps soaring, the mayor of the town fled from there, and so did the other citizens. For more than 13 years, the town was left nearly untouched. The houses remain as it is for the long-gone residents to return. Unknown to the uncanny, Andrew and his daughter Alba were headed towards Pennsylvania in search of their new house. At approximately 10:45 p.m., they finally reached the location. They saw a huge hoary board in front with "Welcome" written on top. Andrew got out of the cab and bade the driver. "Did we reach that?" Alba asked. "I guess," Andrew replied and turned around to look at the driver for one last time. But then the driver had already turned the car and was traveling back at full speed. Andrew and Alba looked at each other in surprise. But little did they know, it was just the beginning. The father and daughter looked around the neighborhood completely lost and confused. They began to wander around the area searching for their new home address. It seemed like the search was never ending. The street lights in the area weren't functioning, so the duo scoured their way with only the help of Andrew's torchlight. But with every step, they became further lost. Instead of reaching their address, they reached somewhere else. All of a sudden, they found themselves in the middle of nowhere. Unknown to them, they had reached towards the abandoned town. "Dad, when are we going to reach?" Alba asked Andrew. "Soon, dear, relax," he replied to his daughter in a calm voice, although his heart was pounding in fear. Andrew was undoubtedly getting really anxious. He kneeled down to check the time. It was 11:59. Andrew wasn't someone who used to get scared easily, but that night was different. Dragged down at his insides, all of a sudden he collided with a stone and fell down on the ground. As he tried to get up, he noticed a strange cloud of smoke coming from somewhere close. "Dad, are you alright?" Alba asked him. "Shh!" He hushed her and seemingly listened carefully at something. "Do you also hear someone mumbling, Alba?" Andrew asked her in a soft voice. "Yes, Dad, like someone humming something," Alba whispered. "What is it, Dad?" she asked again. "I don't know. Maybe there is a group of people around," Andrew replied. Although he didn't know what was happening, Andrew didn't get a good ambience. He was certain that something was definitely off, but didn't want to scare his only daughter, Alba. Soon enough, the father and daughter reached the site. Their hearts hammered inside their chests. There was no one nearby. Andrew suggested that they walk towards where the smoke was coming from. Upon reaching there, they noticed there was a river. Alba looked at Andrew in confusion and asked, "Dad, I see bubbles in the water." "What bubbles?" Andrew asked. Andrew told Alba to stay there while he went and checked on the river. As Andrew walked closer to the river, he noticed something move. After that, what he saw shook him to the core. A monstrous-sized anglerfish appeared in front of his eyes. It looked 4 times bigger than his eyes and had razor-sharp teeth. But more than that, what seemed to shock him more was there was someone standing on top of that fish. At that moment, Andrew lost control of his mind. That girl looked like Alba. Alba! Alba! He screams on top of his lungs and turned behind. Nonetheless, Alba wasn't there. Andrew became certain that the girl on top of the monstrous fish was his daughter. So he jumped on the river trying to save her. But little did he know, the fish had just deceived him. It was its trap to trick people into believing someone is in desperate help and later killing them. Meanwhile, Alba stood there, waiting for her dad, who never came. That was it for today. You might wonder what happened to Alba, her dad's dad. No one knows it for sure. Her existence also became a mystery, just like every others who get lost in the abandoned town. But one thing for sure, they say you can still hear the screams of the victims if you visit the river after midnight. But be careful, the anglerfish won't leave you if it spots you. If you like this story, then stay tuned. I have even more spine-chilling stories to share in the future. Who knows, maybe the next story is going to be about you.